Hey everybody. I don't have a camera pointed at me tonight. I had to use it for another project, so I don't have a camera. And sorry for it being so late. I had to postpone because of storms in my area, and then I was having trouble with my Streamlabs OBS. There was an update tonight that I did, and it crashed it. So yeah, let's see here. Start out. This is the radar in Puerto Rico, and this Invest that's down there is been struggling, and the reason for that is a lot of shear. So go ahead and bring this up. This is National Hurricane Center, and as you can see here, we have two different Invests going on. This one right here, that's Invest 95L. I haven't seen them give a designation for this one yet. It'll probably be 96L. This one just came off of the west coast of Africa, and it's already got a 20%. This one's only got a 10% in the next 5 days. If it makes it through the shear that's down there, it's actually got a chance of turning into something. It's definitely going to be bringing some tropical rain to Florida. And then this one out here is it's already got a 20% chance. So I wish I could show you the visible satellite, but I can't. But I can show you my RamMB site. And it might get a little choppy here. I'm going to try to go back a whole bunch of frames. Let me get this loaded. I want to stop it right here. If you look, see this brown, whoops, it jumped. Go all the way back. Come on, cooperate. Guess I'm going to have to let it play and then I'll show it to you. Hey Denver, Lizanne, Brian, Red Fisher, thanks for joining me. And I'm having issues with their website. But if you can look here, see this haziness in this area? That's the Saharan Desert dust. And that's been kind of choking things off out in there for quite a while. The good news is it's clearing up. Here you can still see it. See that fuzzy looking stuff right there in the center? That's the dust from the Saharan Desert. Now this next Invest is down in here. So it's below that dust. And that dust will kill it. Now let's get up here to the one that might be hitting Florida. Yesterday it really looked good. It actually looked like it was going to try to form something, but it hit some wind shear. And let's see if I can get this thing to cooperate and play. Let's take the frames down to 30 and let it load. And what I want you to notice is the clouds going in two different directions. Once it starts looping here. Notice how you got clouds over here on the left. Whoop, let me go hit bring this up full screen. Sorry about that. Been a couple weeks. But you can see there how the clouds are going two different directions. That's your wind shear. And I'll pause it here. And what I want to point out is these clouds here are going this direction, and these clouds here are going that direction. That's your wind shear, and that's what blew this one apart yesterday, late yesterday and this morning. Yeah, you better not wait till the last minute. Now, this thing's only got a 10% in the 5-day forecast, so it may not do anything. But there you can really see in the daylight how the clouds are going two different directions. If it makes it past that shear, then it's got a good chance. And the top four Cat 5 hurricanes, now this is from like 1935 until present, the top four hurricanes that were Cat 5 were homegrown. They actually blew up close to us. So just because this has got a 10%, I'm not going to say, don't worry about it. We'll have to be cautious of this. And let me show you the wind shear. Let me blow this up here. I'll stop it. Okay, the storm, basically it's in this area right now. This is an older wind shear. These bright colors, that's your wind shear. Oops. Put that. So this area right here, that's what this thing's running into. That's the wind shear. Now, once it gets past that, notice this is Florida here. Once it gets past that, then there is no shear in this area right now. So that's where it's got a chance to really blow up. And we could take a look at the models. Now, it's really not showing much on the Euro model for this little 10%er. Let's go Euro. And I'll go tropical. Okay, over here on the left, that's Florida. I'll go ahead and play this. Okay, there it's showing it, and it's showing it at 1,005 millibars. That's not very low pressure. It's getting there, so there is a chance on this latest model run. Actually, whoa, boy, did that jump ahead. Let's get back to the beginning here. I'll step ahead. Okay, that was not the 10%er, because it's not even showing it. This low coming up through here, that's that second one that's over by Africa. And this will be on Tuesday. There's Wednesday. And here's Thursday. Now, it is showing it well off the East Coast. But, that's a week away. It is showing it 998 millibars. That's some good low pressure. And you can see the lines are close together. The closer together, the stronger the winds are going to be. That's your lines of equal pressure. And that's showing those lines pretty close. So let me zoom in on it. So those different lines there in that circle around the low, that's lines of equal pressure. So that's the second invest that's out there nearly a week away. So a lot of things are going to change between now and then. Right where the small hump is off the state. Oh, Central East Coast. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. So you close to Fort Lauderdale? You're out allowed to post. But you said small hump, I guess. But I'll be keeping a close eye on it, and I'll be doing at least one update every day, probably somewhere around 7, 8 o'clock Eastern time. And then as it gets really close, if something really looks good, then we'll start doing even more updates per day, just like I did with Tropical Storm / Hurricane Barry a couple weeks ago. It's all going to depend on this Bermuda high. You can see this H here. That's the Bermuda high right now. And that's going to help steer it. So we'll have to see when it gets closer. Oh, okay. I know where that's at. So that's just about all I got to show you tonight. It's so late. Um, Not going to stay on too long. I will tomorrow night. I'll have a lot more information tomorrow night. Right now they're just invests. The one that's closer to us, the 95L. We'll see what it does tomorrow. Once you can see here where they've got the 5-day is quite a ways away from Puerto Rico. So that's where I was showing you where there's no shear right now. So that's where they're thinking too, that there's really warm waters right there. There's not going to be any shear, and so they're thinking there is a chance. So we'll have to wait and see what it does. And I'm hoping this one out here doesn't head for Puerto Rico, because they're still recovering from 2 years ago. Now in the Pacific, we got 2 storms out there. We got Eric. That is a hurricane now. Yes, I am. And 75-mile-per-hour winds right now on Eric. Now, the last models that I looked at looks like Eric is, if it stays on its current course, it's going to there's a 5-day forecast cone. Looks like it's going to go just south of the main island in Hawaii. And it does have it as a hurricane all the way through Wednesday, and then dropping down to a tropical storm. But let's go back and look at the other one. Now this one, Flossie, of all things, it's got a 20% chance, but they're not showing it here. It does have 65-mile-per-hour winds already on this report. So that's real close to being a hurricane. And the forecast cone on this one, from what I seen earlier, You can't see it; it's off screen. But this is actually going to head towards Hawaii. So, and they're still showing it as a hurricane on Saturday. So this one's a long ways off. It's about a week, almost a week away from Hawaii. So I'm keeping an eye on those too. Now, what I can show you is the infrared satellite. Uh, this is Invest 95L. It's really ragged looking. The storms are actually on the north side of it. The center is further down. Let me do a radar or a satellite loop. I'll have to load the frames in. And as you can see, the storms on the northern side of it, they're blowing northeast. So that's that shear. But the actual spin is down in here. There you can see the spin counterclockwise. That's where the center of it is right now. Now, something else that they're not talking about yet is this monster here. It's really ragged, but it's strong. But right now they don't have an invest going for this one yet. Really not seeing any circulation in this whatsoever. Now this here is the second invest, and you can see some spin in it. But look up here on the coast of Africa. Look at these tropical waves. So there's one just coming off the coast, and you got another one back east of it. Eventually, one of these is going to do something. But this time of year, that's what we normally expect is these different tropical waves coming off of Africa. And you can see the haziness to the north up here. That's the desert dust. So it's staying south of there. But that's what we got to look forward to over the next week to 2 weeks. I got the feeling one of these is going to do something. Whether it hits land, I don't know. This one over here off of South America, that could hinder this second invest that's back to the east. It may steer it, again, the Bermuda High might steer it and keep it out in the ocean. It's too soon to tell. But as you can see here on my GR3 out of Puerto Rico, there's those storms I was talking about that's off to the north. I going to do the supply list. Oh, I forgot all about that. Basically, in a supply list, an emergency kit, definitely you want a little first aid kit, plenty of water, plenty of batteries, and I will get around to create a list. Sorry, I did forget. Non-perishable food, probably enough for at least a week. Hopefully you'd be able to get some help by then, but you want non-perishable foods. I tell you something, if you like tuna, there is some packets of tuna that you can get, and it's almost like an MRE. It's good for months and months and months and months without even being refrigerated. And you can actually get it as like a tuna salad already made up. They also have it in chicken. I think there is some beef packets like that. Anything that's not perishable that you can keep in that tote. Um, Definitely get uh, a waterproof tote to put everything in, so it doesn't get wet in case of flooding. Important papers. Be sure that all your important papers, prescriptions, anything like that, is well protected in a waterproof tote or a bag or something that you can zip up that won't get water in it. I will put together a list. I apologize again for not doing that. Everything that you can think of that you would need to survive a week without electricity, possible flooding, um, possibly stranded. Hey, Southpaw. But definitely, uh, extra batteries. As far as your phone, A360. Yeah, you definitely want cash because when the power's out, ATMs ain't going to work. Stores, if there's any open whatsoever, they're only going to be able to take cash. Have an escape route and an escape plan. If it definitely looks like it's coming in, don't stick around there in Florida or anywhere where you got a good chance of major flooding. Stay tuned to your local emergency managers. Um, be up to date. If you're going to have a portable generator, be sure for one, you don't try to use it in a flooded area or possibly where it could get flooded and shorted out. Do not use it in your house or your garage. It has to be outside, well ventilated. Uh, this one is down by Puerto Rico right now. It's only got a 10% within 5 days, but there is a second invest that's off the west coast of Africa that's already got a 20% chance of a development. That won't be getting here until towards the end of the week and the weekend. But I will, over the next few days, try to put together a list and some ideas. Hey, Spirit. And I'll have that posted on my Facebook weather page, as well as I'll show it here probably multiple times. Like I say, this thing's only got a 10%, but by golly, when it gets out of this wind shear area, right now it's right in the wind shear, and that's what's keeping it from forming. Once it gets up here where this darker color is, right up in here, there's no wind shear at the moment. So if it can get past the wind shear that's down here, and it gets up in this area, whoops, daggone, it's not writing on the screen again. Let me do this. Okay, let's try this again. Right here is where the wind shear is, and that's what it's fighting. The center of it's down here at the bottom. The center of it is about right in there. Right in here is your wind shear. That's the reason why it's blowing these storms off the top of it. And once it gets up in this area, once it gets out of that wind shear, there's nothing to stop it. It's a lot warmer water. That's going to give it even more fuel. So even though it's 10%, and I heard somebody today, all the weatherman said that there's no chance. There's nothing in the Atlantic Ocean. Yes, there is. There's two invests. So I I get aggravated when some meteorologists, broadcast meteorologists, try to say there's nothing happening. And like I said earlier, four of the worst Cat 5 hurricanes were homegrown. They actually, and that was right around this time of year too. From 1935 to present, there was four Cat 5s that blew up close to home. So even though this thing's only got a 10% chance, down here to the 5 day, even though it's got only got that 10% chance there, look where it's at, right off the coast. And once it gets out of this wind shear, which is across here, and gets up in this area where the cone is, it's definitely got a chance. So I'm not going to ignore this one. I mean, it may only just bring tropical rain. Let's hope so. But then I'm watching this other one. Because that one's got a better chance. And by then, I think the forecast models this year is going to be gone. That cone is the 5 day, so they're expecting it to hit there within 5 days. Now, this was 8 o'clock tonight Eastern time. I won't get another update till 2 in the morning. So let's see what happens between the 2 o'clock, the 4 o'clock, and I think there's a might be a 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's see, it's 2 a.m. Excuse me, it's 2 a.m., 8 a.m., 2 p.m., and then again at 8 p.m. And then as it gets closer, if it becomes a lot stronger and starts forming, then they'll have updates every few hours. Yeah, I hope it doesn't either. I have fun with them, but I don't like to see the damage that they do. Which Hurricane Barry a couple weeks ago, yeah, had my name on it, and it kind of fizzled out. But boy, did that thing cause a lot of flooding. Again, of those that have joined since I started, I don't have a camera on me tonight. I don't have a camera available to have a camera pointed at me. Just stay tuned. I will be doing a live update uh, somewhere between 7 and 8 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow night. As it gets closer and it looks like it's going to really, do some flooding or damage, I'll start doing more than one update a day. But for now, I'm only going to do one since they're only invest. And they're weak invest. They're below 40%. So when they get above 40%, then I start, doing more updates on it. They retired your name. They didn't retire mine, doggone it. And Barry's been used many times over the years. So my name will get used again. Now, um, I didn't show you the infrared out here in the ocean. On the Pacific side, here's the two storms that we're dealing with, Eric and Flossie. Yeah, they retired it, so they'll never use it again. But there's the two different storms. Right there in the center, that's Hilo, Hawaii. And you can see Eric it's all the models here, all those different colored dots are different models, and it's going to go south. Now they will get that northern quadrant, so they're going to get some strong winds off of this. Probably some flooding as well, a lot of rain. But look at Flossie. I mean, Flossie's still way back here, and the models has got it headed right for the Big Island. So I hope they don't get hit, but it does show it down to a tropical cyclone by the time it gets close to there, but it's still a long ways off. This model here is actually showing it to be a Cat 3 in 69 hours from the last update. Like, again, we got this thing, by Puerto Rico, Invest 95L. We got the second one that's just off the west coast of Africa. And then, as you can see, there's some more waves that's going to be coming off the coast. So we're going to have back-to-back tropical waves coming across. Now, earlier this month, there was not only the Saharan dust, which, like I was saying earlier, you can see it's real hazy looking. That's Saharan dust, but there was also a lot of wind shear all the way across. Now there's not really showing any wind shear. Yeah, up here by South America, it doesn't have any spin in it. Not yet. There's no invest on it, so they're not doing any investigation. But I'm kind of keeping my eye on that because that thing's been, pretty potent. Again, there's Invest 95L. Really wanted to do this about 4 or 5 hours ago, but I had storms rolling through here in Ohio, and my lights were flickering, so I didn't want to have the computers on during that. Then my boss man Nathan Moore was streaming and discussing not only this tropical weather stuff but other storms and some other things that he's got. And so I was kind of waiting until he got done with that part of his live stream. And then my Streamlabs that updated, it crashed it. I finally got it working naturally. So now I'm good to go for the rest of the week. I do need to buy another camera since my C920 is being used on another project. As you can see there at the top of the screen, I am only 15% of my goal for this month. I got 2 days left, man, for my costs. So I'm going to call it a night. It's 11:34 here in Ohio. So I'm going to call it a night. I'll keep you updated as I get information. I'll let you know. So we'll catch you all tomorrow night. Thanks for joining me, everybody.